Hey, it's Adam from Wired. Welcome to what I am calling the Battle of the Action Figure Battles. I know that everybody talks about Comic-Con as being a place where you see new movies and maybe even comic books, but I actually have a old nerdiness for action figures. I was the kind of person who spent a lot of money on things like points of articulation and size relative to other action figures and different paint decos depending on whether they were going on an Arctic mission or not. I'm trying really hard lately to not call them action figures, but call them dolls, because you know, they're dolls. But one of the things they do at Comic-Con is that the companies who make the main lines of action figures, so like DC Comics and Marvel Comics, will set up these incredible tableaus where the figures are all fighting with each other, like the kind of thing that, I don't know, if you were someone like, hypothetically, me, you would have wished you could build in your bedroom. So what I want to do is take a look at the Marvel figures and the DC figures and try to figure out maybe who did them better or cooler. Let's go have a look. This is the Marvel display. You can see that it's enormous. They have a huge castle set up, and like every comic book hero that I've read in the last 30 years, plus the SHIELD helicarriers floating up there, that's brand new. Everybody keeps walking around the con bumping into people with the giant boxes for it, but the level of detail here is just astounding. All of the heroes are actually fighting their arch enemies from the comic book. Same thing, like the deco is great, the points of articulation are numerous. Everything poses like you can make them pose in any position any person would actually be in. But it's got these little like Easter eggs for old nerds like me. Like there's a dungeon down here where Hydra officers are experimenting on Captain Marvel with flashing lights, and they've got instruments of torture. And then back here, there's like a secret hallway room where all of the worst bad guys are having a meeting with guns and money on the table, and Dr. Doom is gesticulating, while at the same time, up above, Captain America just threw a shield. It's just kind of awesome, and I talked to the guys here, and they said that they're a bunch of custom pieces, so in addition to like giant sentinels walking up through the water that you can actually buy, they were Build-A-Figure things where you bought all the pieces and put them together. There's a giant robot, Dr. Doom, that they built special for this. So just there's a huge amount of attention. I mean, you can read this thing like you would actually read a real comic book. Okay, so this is, I assume, the central power battery on Oa. These are Green Lanterns fighting with various other colored lanterns. I don't know if you knew this, but the lanterns come in a whole bunch of different colors, and the rings mean different emotions and different power sets. I won't bore you with all the details, but it's kind of cool. There's Hal Jordan fighting with, I think, Atrocitus is the red lantern there. The central power battery is where all the Green Lanterns get their power. The tableau, the whole backdrop isn't for sale. They've been saying that maybe they will put it up for sale. And you can see all the characters, like all the joints, those are points of articulation. And you can see like the double jointed knees so that the legs bend really well. All the green's really shiny, that's deco, the paint's really cool. So, I mean, it's a beautiful set. And they're all fighting the appropriate enemies. And they all have like the different lantern powers. The green makes flames for some of them and guns for other ones. So it's just, you know, it's a cool set, and everybody's sort of expressing all of their emotions, right? And then this one, you want to stand up, or should we? Look at that move. Look at that camera move. And then this is all new Justice League, so DC just rebooted the Justice League in the comics. And the costumes are all a little bit different. I don't know if you can see Superman back here, but, oh, he's turned around. Superman doesn't have the red underpants on anymore. Batman doesn't have the black underpants, and you can see there's kind of armor designs on the clothes. And that sort of design stuff is what a lot of collectors really like about action figures, is when you can see these little design details that really pop maybe even more than they do in the comics. Like you can see the lines on Flash's costume, or kind of differences in scale so that the different heroes have different bodies, and that's Darkseid. That big guy is a big bad guy. So this is a really neat one too, and then they're all fighting on top of stuff. Wonder Woman and Superman are fighting parademons, Batman's up there, and you're supposed to imagine that they're all caught in mid-battle. That's a nice one. Well, I gotta say, as much as I think that the DC figures are pretty awesome, I really like that Marvel display. That castle, man, if they were selling that thing, I think that my wife would have to talk me off the credit card cliff. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. I think this one goes to Marvel.